Hello guys, so this is Prankster's Gambit.
The goal of the game is to get 3 wins, and then you win. So at the end of every round, you get a win card. And the way to win, you get the highest calculated points at the end of the round. So first, we open the box. So these are our modifier cards. These and our player cards. These will be used as like trump cards for every player. We'll explain that later on. In the back will be the rule card. This will explain the whole game if you feel like reading it. And then we have our win cards for when you win a round at the back as well. And our trap cards. These are the main part of the game essentially. And then we have modifiers. These will be attached to all the trap cards in the game. We'll explain that later on as well. These are used during the player cards. So for this one, remove any modifier. Nope, you're gonna edit that, right? So for this one, change the type of a modifier to Prankster. You would put this on a card. Say we had ground, now it's Prankster. We'll explain that later on as well. Can you pause it?
Oh. So we're about to play our first game of Prankster's Gambit.
So first, you would shuffle. They're already shuffled, and then each person gets 3 trap cards face down. And then after everyone has 3 trap cards face down, you give 4 modifier cards. 4 modifier cards to each person. And be sure that the modifiers are also shuffled. And when you're done with that, you flip. Just don't show your cards to anyone else. You can look at your own. And then you place 1 trap card of your choice. The higher the value, the better, normally. You want to make sure that they match your modifiers for higher point values, potentially. And then you would place a trap card and wait for everyone to do so. So these are action cards. Each player gets 1 chosen at random. You can shuffle or you cannot shuffle. You can just do it in random if you want. But you can fan them and let the player choose. And after everyone has gotten a player card, you can face them up. Anyone should be able to view these. Anyone should be able to view these. And then each person, or there are specific cards that use these. So this one is used to make a negative modifier positive or a positive modifier negative. So you would give that to the person, and then this turns any card into a Prankster card. So you give that to the person. So the premise of the game is to attach modifiers onto each trap card. Your modifiers have number values. So negatives, you would ideally put them onto an enemy player, and positives would ideally go onto yours. Each trap card can only have 4 modifiers. And each person takes a turn, and then it goes counterclockwise until everyone is out of modifier cards. After which you will flip all the cards and calculate the values.
So whoever shuffles goes first.
And you want to place your modifiers face up. Now it's your turn, counterclockwise. And they can be placed on anyone that doesn't have 4 Prankster or 4 modifier cards on their trap card. It's Nate's turn. Now back to me. Nate's turn. And my turn again. and then back to Nay. And now we all have 4 modifiers. Now would be the time to use our player cards or our action cards. So normally the person that went first will go first with the action cards as well. So I have swapped 2 modifiers excluding cards with a -6 or -3. So that means I cannot swap any card with a -3 value or a -6 value. So I'm going to swap this positive with this positive, and now it is Christian's turn. He just made this card positive because before it had negative values. Casey's turn. He made this card a Prankster card, which will always match his trap card, so it will use the top value instead of the bottom. And it's Nay's turn. She has a card that can remove any trap or modifier card in play, including her own. So she removed the highest negative value, which would have been the best play. Now that everyone has used a player card, we keep them, and we flip and calculate. So here, if your cards match, if your modifiers match your trap card, it will take the top value. So if this was an aerial card, it would be -6, but it's not. It's a trick card, so it will use the other value. And pranksters only have one value, and they match all the time. So if we did the math, this is -3, that's 1 plus 1, that's 2 minus 3, that's -1 plus 2 is 1. So I have 1 total.
I have 6 in total. 4.
4.
It's 5 plus the 2 or the 1?
These match, so it's 7 plus 2 minus 2, so these cancel each other. So you have 7 total. So Nay has the highest amount of points, so she wins at the end of the round. This is a queen card or a win card, and you are the winner. So you get 3 of those, and you win the game. That was only 1 round.
Mm-hmm.